So glad you could be here with me today. Let's start off in our seated resting position. So that maybe sitting upright as I am, about mid-chair, or maybe you want to come all the way back in your chair and relax against the back of the chair. Let your hands rest on the tops of your thighs loosely. Close your eyes and begin to breathe good deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good, deep, relaxing breaths. Letting that outside world just slip away. In through the nose, out through the nose, if possible. If not, in through the nose and out through the mouth is good. Just good, deep breaths. Let those shoulders relax back and down. Let that seat melt into the chair beneath you. With each exhale, let go of a little stress you have in your body. And with each inhale, bring that oxygen back in to renew the body. A couple more breaths. And then with the next breath, let's drop our chin down slowly, allowing our head to be heavy. Nothing sudden. Breathing, feeling that pull in the back of the neck and the top of the back. Couple of breaths here. One more. And then let's lift our face back up to center. Open our eyes and take our face upward toward the sky, feeling the pull in the upper neck, upper chest, as we look up toward the sky and breathe. One more. And then bring the head and face slowly back to center. Once here, let's take our face to the side as if to look over the shoulder on that side. Feeling a slight stretch in the neck muscles. One more breath. And with the next breath, let's bring the face back again to center. And let's go in that opposite direction, as if to look over the other shoulder. Breathing good breaths. Noticing that there might be stiffness on one side and not the other. Typical. Breathe through, and then allow that face to return once again to center. Now, let's take our arms down. Let's take them out. Let's lift them up. Put the hands together at the top and draw them into heart center. Once again, arms come down, reach out, sweep up, and then into center. Let's do a little flow of this movement, waking up the upper body, breathing as we go, down, out, up, and in. A few more. Down, stretch out, stretch up, come into the center. And this will be our last. Down, out, up, and then in. And bring our hands back to the tops of the thighs. Let's scoot back in our chair. Let's bring our feet out just a little bit in their spacing. Your feet are in the inside legs of the chair. We're going to get in a seated forward fold. So let's pull in our core muscles, letting our hands rest on the tops of the thighs. Let's gradually hinge from the hips, lowering that torso down toward the tops of the thighs as you breathe. It's easy to hold the breath when we're trying poses, but make sure you are breathing. You'll get to a point where you're looking directly at the ground, at a point between your feet and out in front of them a bit. Breathe, and if this is good for you, you can stay here and continue breathing, feeling the stretch in your hips and your back. But you can also take a step further. Let's take one hand over the knee and down to the shin and to the top of the foot on that side. If that feels good, let's repeat that on the other side. So hand over knee and shin and down to the foot on that side. If this is good, stay here or let that head drop in toward the chair. Breathing good breaths. Now, if this does not feel good for you, you can always lift your head back up and breathe looking directly at the floor. One more breath. And with the next breath, bring the face up to looking directly at the ground. And then, with the next intake of breath, draw one hand up over a shin, a knee, and allow it to rest at the top of the thigh. If that's good, let's repeat on the other side. Hand up over shin, knee, and at the top of the thigh. Elbows are in close to the body. Good deep breath. Tighten those core muscles and allow them to lift your body up slowly to that upright position once again. Once here, take a good deep breath in and then out. Let's scoot back to about mid-chair. Let's come to the center of that chair with our seat, and then let's drop our arms down and come up to the top, putting the hands together and coming into the center. Now let's do a few sunbursts. So let's take our hands up, spread out the fingers in jazz hands, and stretch way wide with those arms. Come back into the prayer position and take those arms up again, out wide and down, and then back into the center, up. I like to call these our sunbursts because that's what they remind me of. Up to the top, stretch it out. Let's do two more, to the center and up. Breathing, of course, this is our last. Center and up and out and back into the center, and then back down with the hands to the tops of the thighs. Let's scoot up a bit in our chair so we're a little bit closer to the edge. We're going to get in some lower body movement. So let's do some knee kicks starting on this side. So out with the leg, foot in that flex position with the heel pushing out, and then back down. Once again, kick and down. Toe up and down. A few more, and down, up and down. Breathing, warming up that lower body just like we have with the upper body. Two more, and down, and then up and down. Good. Let's go to the other side. So we're going to kick with this leg now. Foot is flexed and down. Toe up and down. A few more, and down. Up and down. Again, down. Two more, and down. This is our last. Up and down. Let's drop our arms down. Let's take them out. Let's come to the top. Let's draw into the center. Now, hands back to the thighs. We're going to do our side steps. So we're going to take this leg out to the side and back in. Ready? Let's go. Out and in. Out and in. Keep your body facing forward. Out and in. Out and in. A few more. Out and in. Getting our hip flexor joint there. A little workout. Out and in. This is the last. Out and in. Now, let's go to the other side. So, we're going to step out in that direction. Out and in. Out and in. Out and in. Moving those legs. Out and in. Let's do two more. Out and in. Out and in. And last time. And in. Coming out to the front of the chair. Let's fall into our butterfly. So we're taking the soles of our feet. If my hands were my feet and my palms were my soles, I would put them together like this if I could. But maybe they only go together like this. Maybe your ankles aren't flexible enough to get your soles together. But do what you can, putting those feet towards one another. Adjust the seat bones so that your hip flexor joints, which are right here, that they fall out, your knees fall out, your hands rest at mid-thigh. Sit up nice and tall with your shoulders back and down and breathe. With that next breath, let's drop the chin downward. The butterfly is a restorative position for the body. After you've done a little bit of work, it's good to keep your back straight, let your chin fall down, stretch that neck, let those legs relax and breathe. One more. And with the next breath, lift the face back up to center. Open the eyes and bring one of the feet to the floor and follow with the other. Let's step out and let's get up slowly. And let's come around to the back of the chair. Let's step back into our downward dog. So our hands are on the chair and we're stepping back with parallel feet, slightly bent knees to keep the health of the knees good. And we're hinging from the hips, lowering the body down so that the ears find themselves between the elbows. Push that weight way back so that the weight of your body is over your knees, your ankles, and your feet. Let's breathe. A couple more. Enjoy that stretch in your lower back, your hips, maybe your hamstrings and the sides of your torso and in your shoulders even. Last breath. And then let's do a deep knee bend and a straighten. Once again, a deep knee bend and a straighten. And last time, a deep knee bend and a straighten. Let's step up to the back of the chair, coming upright slowly. We're going to get in an alternate tree pose today. So, we're going to step out to the side. One hand, the front hand is on the chair. The back hand and arm are out at about 45-degree angle to the body. Your feet are about hip width apart. Knees are slightly soft, again, to keep the pressure off the knee joint. You're going to raise that knee that's closest to the chair up. You're going to hold it here. We're going to find a focal point on the side. Get it in your gaze. And then try to lift that arm slightly off the chair with both of your arms just low. And balance here. Now if you can't lift that front arm, put it back on the chair and just balance with the one arm out. You can stay here, breathing, one arm on the chair, one out. You can lift that arm off the chair, both arms low, and breathe. Or you can try lifting that back arm up and then lift higher. Breathing, holding in that core. One last breath. Then let's bring the knee down, bring the arm down if it's up. And then let's walk in place gently, just to loosen the body a little bit. You can take the hand off the chair and do it, swinging the arms, or you can keep your hand on the chair if you need to. Let's swing back around toward the chair and step back into down dog one more time. Push that weight back, keep your knees soft, and hinge. Breathing. One more breath. And then let's do one deep knee bend. And then let's straighten. And let's come back up to the chair. We're going to get in our tree pose on the other side. So let's turn out, face the opposite direction. Back arm is at about 45 degrees to the body. Front arm is on the chair. Pull in that core, tighten under that posterior, and lift that front leg up. You can balance right here, one hand on the chair, one hand off. Or you can try to lift that hand off the chair and out just a bit. And breathe here. Or you can let that hand rest on the chair, or you can bring up to the top that other arm and lift the body. Growing taller, balancing. One more breath. And then back arm can come down as well as the lifted leg. And we can march in place just a little. Couple more steps, and then let's come back to facing toward the front. Arms can come down. Let's get in our mountain pose. So our feet are parallel and we're behind the chair. The chair is always here for us if we need it for balance or just as a visual balance. But actual balance, physical balance, you can always touch the chair if you need to. But if you don't need it for physical balance, let your hands rest, palms forward, pull in that core, tuck under that posterior, and stand tall, relaxing the shoulders. Eyes can be open or eyes can be shut. If you have doubts about your equilibrium, you can lay a finger on the chair and close your eyes to sort of stabilize yourself, those fingers. Breathe and imagine that your spine is like a straight string that runs from the crown of your head down through your neck, your shoulders, your body, your hips, and then down to a point on the floor between your feet. And as we travel back up that string through the body into the crown of the head, that string is pulled up taller and we become taller. And we breathe. Good breaths. A couple more. Last one. And then if your eyes have been closed, you may open them. Stand up tall, take your arms up to the top, and then bring them into heart center. Now let's take this hand and put it behind our back of the palm and the lower back. This arm comes down and out and up. Reach up, look up, stretch up. If looking up is not good for you, remember you can always look out over the front of the chair. But look up and stretch up if you can. Stay here if you like, or bring that arm over the body in a nice side bend. Breathing. Feeling that pull in those oblique muscles, that side body. Remember, if there's any pain, come back up to vertical. And if you need to, you can always lower that arm and just breathe. One more breath. And then bring that arm back to the top. Turn out the palm and float the arm down. Bringing the other arm off, let's take our arms out and up to the top and come into the center. And let's take the other arm back behind us, back of the palm and the lower back. This arm comes out and up, and we reach toward the sky. Stretching the body up, staying here if we choose, or taking the arm over the body and getting that nice pull on this side. Breathing. One more breath. And then let's come back up to the top. Let's float that arm down. Let's bring both arms up to the top. And then let's come back into the center. Bringing our hands back to the chair. Let's step back for another down dog. Feet parallel. Hinge from the hips. Push the weight back and lower that torso. Your head doesn't need to go any lower than ears between the elbows. Keep the knees soft. Couple of breaths here. One more. And then let's try a deep knee bend and a straightening. And let's step up again to the chair. With one hand on the chair, let's come around and have a seat at about mid-chair once again. Arms can come down and up to the top and into the center. Hands can come back to the tops of the thighs, and we can step out to the side and turn the body to the side. We're going to get in a seated sideways twist. So bring those hands to heart center, sit up nice and tall, and twist toward the chair's back. Breathing, getting a good spinal twist. Couple more breaths. Last one. And then bring the body back to sideways facing and take those hands down to the tops of the thighs. Let's step that front leg to the front. Follow with the back leg. And once we're forward facing again, let's drop down the arms and come way out into the top and then into the center. We're going to do the same spinal twist on the other side. So hands down to the legs, step out, turn sideways. Become comfortable sideways position and bring the hands into the prayer position. Sit up tall and twist toward the chair's back. Breathing. You might notice a pop or two when you twist. That's normal. But these twists keep our spine nice and flexible. One more breath. And then let's bring the body back to sideways facing. Let's take the hands down to the tops of the thighs. Let's step forward. And let's come back to the frontward facing. Time for our cows and cats. So let's start with the cow and lift our face upward, arching our back toward the back of the chair. And then let's pull in our core and come forward, like a scared cat, curving the spine downward. We're going to do a little flow of this movement. So back through the neutral spine and into the cow. And then pulling in the core and curving forward into the cat. So a few more of these. Make sure you're breathing. You can follow me or follow your own breath. Make sure you are breathing. Sometimes we forget that part. A few more. Giving our spine a nice front to back stretching. Couple more. This is our last one. Complete it well. And then return yourself to a neutral spine. An upright body, relax shoulders back and down and open the eyes back up. Let's drop our arms down and let's come up to the top and then come into the center. Bringing our hands down, let's step out, let's get up and come around to the back of the chair. We're going to get in a standing warrior today. So we're going to come out this way. Arm out in the back, one hand on the chair. We're going to step this inside leg back, away from the chair, just as far back as is comfortable for you. Your heel on the floor. If you need to, you can pull it in. But hand is on the chair. Opposite arm comes out and up. If you're dazed, look up. If you need to, you can always look out. And then if you'd like to, you can stay here and continue to breathe and lift the body. Or you can arch the body back. If that's not good, you can bring the body back up to vertical. Couple breaths here. Last one. And then if your back is turned, come back up to vertical. Turn that palm out, float that arm down as you bring that leg back in to match the other. Then swing forward, facing the chair, step back, and do a downward dog. Hinge from the hips, bend those knees a bit, and breathe. One more breath. Deep knee bend and straighten. And then let's step back up to the chair. Coming upright, we're going to get in our warrior on the other side. So let's twist out. Feet are parallel. Front arm is on the chair. Let's take the inside leg and step it back. Now pull that front leg up. Your knee shouldn't come out over top of your, no further out than over top of your toe. The back leg is straight. You'll feel a pull in your calf when you do this. Heels on the floor, so if you have it stretched out too far, you can bring it in some. But if you don't have it stretched enough, maybe try it back a little further. Now let that back arm come down. Let it sweep out and let it come up to the top. Grow taller. Lift that arm up. Look up. Breathe. Stay here if you choose, or take that arm back over the hill. Arching the back. Now if this is not good for you, remember, you can always come back to vertical. You can always float the arm down. You can always return to a previous position that felt good. Breathe good breaths. Let's do one more. And then let's bring that arm back up to vertical. Let's turn that palm out. Let's float that arm down first. Let's step that leg in to match the other second. Now let's come back around to the front, and this time step back just a little bit and let the arms come down, and let's swing them gently side to side. A few more. Nice twist, loosening the body. And then let's steady ourselves back to a frontward facing position. Arms can come down and come up to the top and come into the center. Once again, out, up, in to heart center, and then down, stretch out, stretch up, and into heart center. This time, let's take our arms out to the front. Let's put our hands, the back of them, together. Let's sweep those arms out and back and down so that the palms of your hands are facing one another behind your back. Now pull in your core. Feet are about hip width apart. Could be a little bit further if you like. And your palms are squeezing toward one another. Tension's building in your shoulders and your arms. Imagine that there's a big beach ball back there that you're trying to hold between your palms by pressing it, compressing it between those palms, and holding it so it doesn't fall to the floor. That engages your shoulders and your hands and arms. So tension's building, you're getting tired, but breathe. One more. And then let those arms come down. Roll those shoulders while you stand. Shake those hands. Roll them forward if you can. Roll one back and then the other. Roll one forward and then the other. And then let's take our arms out and up and into center, placing a hand on the chair, coming around, having a seat once again at about mid-chair. Now once you're here, step out and find that band that you laid down beside your chair or under it, and bring it up into your lap. Now whatever length your band is, you most likely can fold it in half. I have a long band here. Some of them are longer and shorter. If you have a belt or scarf, just grasp it as I have at the tops of my knees. Now my feet are about hip width apart, okay? So we're going to do our lifting and lowering with the inhale and exhale of breath. So let's lift the band up with an inhale all the way to the top, and then let's lower with the exhale. Now let's try to make that lowering just as slow as our lifting. So inhale and lift, and exhale and lower. Now we're going to do a flow of this, so you can follow me or follow your own breath. But lift and inhale, lower and exhale. It's a little harder to come down slow, but that's what builds some muscle in our arms, so we want to try it. And lower. Now let's do two more. So let's lift and lower and lift and then lower. Now let's take the band over so that one hand is on the knee and the other hand is out to the side. We're going to do a diagonal lift and lower. So let's lift as we inhale, and let's lower as we exhale. Lift as we inhale, lower as we exhale. Let's do a few more of these. Let's do two more. So inhaling and exhaling, and then inhaling and exhaling. So let's bring the band back to the center. Let's pull it in a moment. Let's roll our shoulders just a tad. Loosen some tension. Okay, settle. Push back out to the front. And let's put this hand over here on this knee, and the other arm is out straight. We're going diagonal on this side. So we're lifting and we're lowering. And we're breathing, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling, and we're going to do one more. So inhale and then exhale. And bring that band back to the front. Now, we're going to take the band out to the front, and we're going to take our hands a little bit further out, maybe all the way out to the edges. We have to kind of find the right length for this because we're going to do what's called flossing. So the band has to go behind our back. In fact, I think I need maybe even a little more. Let's try this. Okay, back behind our back, straighten out our arms. The band needs to be that long, okay? So let's go side to side first. Just trying to keep our shoulders more or less level, but twisting side to side. And the band is taut, as you can see, from hand to hand. Okay, let's come back upright. Now what flossing is we're going to pass this band back over our head to the front, and then we're going to reverse it. So, let's see if we can grab a hold of the band with a good tightness, and then we're going to come over our head and to the front, over our head and to the back, over our head and to the front. Now you've got to find the right distance for this. So, it might take you a couple times to get that. It always does me. So you're going up and you're going forward, back and forward. This really gives a workout to the shoulders, but the tension is the trick. So if at first you're having an awkward time, keep going. Practice it with different lengths. of the band. So up and forward and then back. And then last time, let's come forward. Let's bunch this up and bring it into our lap. I don't know about you, but my shoulders were certainly popping for that. Let's step out and let's put down the band and find the ball underneath our chair or to the side and bring it up into our lap. Now, if you don't have a ball on hand, as I mentioned earlier, you can just take a sweatshirt or a shirt and wad it up. It's the same, basically the same thing. Good deep breath. Exhale. Let's do another. Good deep breath and exhale. Let's take the ball out to the front and let's bring it into a rotation, side to side, like we're sort of driving a car. It's about chest height, something like that. Arms are straight. Feel it in your shoulders, but it's a gentle movement. A few more twists. Last one. And then bring the ball back into the lap. Now, let's take the ball to the chest and take it up. Now we're going to bend our elbows back and take the ball behind our head and then back up to the top. But try not to bend over for this. Sit up nice and tall and be able to take the ball behind your head and up. Breathing down and up. Let's do a few more. Down and up and down and up. One more after this one. So it's down and it's up and then it's down into our lap. Now let's take this ball down to the side. Let's sweep it out. Let's take it up and allow it to fall over top of our head and on the outside of that opposite ear, keeping your body upright. Sometimes you want to lean like this. Just try to keep your body upright as you breathe. And then with the next breath, the ball comes back to the top and then back into the lap, and we switch hands. So the ball comes down here, way out, way up, and over. Breathing. And then with the next breath, come back to the top and come back into the lap. Now let's take the ball behind us. Put it in the small of our back or in the middle of our back. And then let's back up to it. And then let's rock side to side. Mine's making a lot of noise, but it's also pressing into my spine and giving me a little massage. So if the ball slips or works its way up and you think you're going to lose it, put it back down and then rock some more. Make sure you're pressing back as you go side to side. Couple more. And then we need to settle. And we're going to reach back and we're going to get that ball and we're going to step out and we're going to place it underneath the chair and out of the way and come back up. Just sitting about mid-chair with hands on thighs, shoulders back and down. Let's drop our arms down, take them way out, come to the top and come into the center. Once again, down and out and up and in. Last time, down, out, up, and to the center. Hands back to the tops of the thighs. Seated twisting position. So let's extend one arm to the front. Place the other hand beneath it. Sweep that arm out and back, turning the body sideways. Arm is parallel to the ground. If holding it out is problematic, you can always allow it to rest on the back of the chair. Sit up nice and tall. Breathe. And then with the next breath, sweep that arm back to the front and bring that hand back to rest. Arms come down, come out, come to the top and to the center, and we'll try that on the other side. So lay the hand down first, extend the arm second on this side, and then sweep in that opposite direction. Breathing. One more. then bring that arm back to the front and bring those hands down to the tops of the thighs. Let's come out to the front of our chair. We're going to get in our seated pigeon. So you want to feel comfortable at the edge of the chair, but sit up good and tall. And let's cross one of our ankles over the other. Now once you do that, adjust your seat so that this hip flexor joint here can open out and your knee will fall out. Now if your knees allow, you can bring that ankle up to the opposite knee. If this causes pain, just keep the ankles crossed down at the floor or the ground. Lay one hand on the ankle, one on the knee. Grow taller, and then hinge forward from the hips. And as you do this, you'll notice a tightening in this joint, very likely. It's not about how far you can hinge, it's about when you begin to feel that stretch and breathing through it. Each time we do this, we expand our flexibility. Our hip flexors store a lot of stress, so this is so good for those joints. Breathe. Good straight back. And then with the next breath, let's tighten our core and let's lift slowly our body back up to vertical. Once here, let's take our ankle off and place it back on the floor. Now let's go to the other side. So cross the other ankle over, adjust the hips, let the hip flexor open, the knee fall out on this side, and then bring that ankle up to the top. Hand on ankle, hand on knee. You'll notice that both sides of your body are not the same here. Probably feel very different. Grow taller and then hinge forward. Stretch, stretch. No pain. If you have pain, back out of it. You just want to feel good stretch and breathe through. And sometimes that breath will allow a little more stretch. One more breath. Tighten the core and allow those muscles to bring you back up to vertical. Use them. And then once you are at vertical and you've relaxed your shoulders back and down, let's take that ankle off and return it to the ground. Come back to about mid-chair. Let's drop our hands down and come up to the top. Reach up with both arms, look up, lift the body up. Breathe. If looking up's a problem, remember you can always look out over the front of the chair. But breathe, good breaths. Widen the arms a little if you'd like and add a back bend. This is not good. Remember, you can return to vertical. One more breath. And then with the next breath, let's bring our body back up to a neutral position for the spine. Turn the palms outward. Float those arms down slowly and bring them in to rest at the tops of the thighs. Good deep breath in and out. Let's take one arm up and over our head and let it fall. Let's take the other arm up and over our head and let it fall. Then let's grasp our elbows. Let's breathe. And then let's tilt our body over for a slight sway and a slight stretch. Breathing, coming back up to vertical, and going that opposite way. And back up to vertical. And then take one arm up and let it fall. And then take the other arm up and let it fall. And then let's take both arms down and bring to the top and come into the center. Hands to the tops of the thighs. Let's step our legs out wide this time and get in one last forward fold with wide legs. Hands rest at the tops of the thighs. We're sitting up tall, posterior's back up against the back of the chair, pulling in this core. Sitting up tall and hinging from the hips as we pull that core in. Slowly go downward. You may find yourself a little more flexible this time with the forward fold than when we did it at the beginning of our practice today. Once you've gotten down as far as you think you can go, just breathe there. Looking directly at the ground between your feet. Stay here if you like, or take a hand over a knee and a shin and let that hand rest at the top of the foot. Good breath. And then repeat on the other side. Hand over knee, shin, down to the top of the foot. Stay here and breathe, or look in toward the chair, letting the head drop in. One more breath. And then let's bring our head back up to look directly at the ground. And breathe. And draw one hand up over the shin and knee and back to the top of the leg. And with the next breath, repeat on the other side. Shin, knee, thigh. Breathe and tighten core and lift. Slowly back up to the top. Once here, drop those shoulders back and down. Bring that body back in toward the mid-chair, the legs a little closer together. It's time for our Shavasana, our final resting pose. So for you, it might be sitting up like I am here, or maybe you want to lean back in the chair a little more. Maybe you want to take your legs a little further apart. Maybe you want to place your hands in the simple mudra with your thumb and index finger together to concentrate breath. Maybe you want to close your eyes and breathe. Good deep breaths. Feeling very accomplished about what you've done today. You've relaxed your mind, relaxed your body. Let those shoulders relax down. With each breath, let residual tension seep from the body. With each inhale, new life, new breath. Calming breath. And with the next breath, allow your chin to fall downward, continuing to breathe till your chin falls toward your chest. Once there, allow your head to roll toward one shoulder slowly. And then allow your head to roll back through center, chest, and toward the other shoulder. Continue head rolls. Slowly, nothing sudden. shoulder to shoulder. Couple more. And then allow your head to find its way back to mid-chest and take a breath or two there. One more. And then slowly bring your face back up through center, open those eyes, and take the face upward toward the sky. Breathing, letting those shoulders fall down and back. Lifting the body, breathing good breaths. And then with the next breath, returning the face to center. Let's tilt our head to one side and then back up to the top. Once again, to the side and to the top. Good deep breath in and out. Let's finish our practice today with our 3 good breaths and our arm movements. So let's take the arms down. Let's take them way out to the side, way up to the top, put them together at the top, and draw into heart center again. Down, stretch it out, stretch it up and in. Last time, down, out, up and in. Namaste. Thank you so much.